Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, July 5th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. So, very, very quiet day. Even with the Fed minutes, we had a little reaction. They popped up first and they pushed down. Couple of things. We do not get either side of the overnight. That's only the fourth time in 126 trading days this year in ES and SPY. Okay? Or in ES. I'm going to say ES from now on. In ES. So that's still only 3% of the time we usually get one of the overnights. That's number one. Number two, we had an 11 wide. We had basically an opening drive this today. Pushed up. Then momentum buyers tried to come in. Couldn't get anything for their efforts. They pushed down in J. J low is just too close to the day's low for me to use as a pullback, especially since it's so far below value low. It is the third smallest range of the year, $1.99. It's probably going to be in the top 10 of lowest volume of the year. We're at 52.6. So if we don't do another 10 million in the after hours, which I don't foresee happening, we're going to have one of our smallest volumes of the year. Again, I'm not surprised the day after a holiday. A lot of people take this whole day off and the whole week off. But still, when we gapped lower, I thought we had a chance to get something going. And that's the 26 downside gap, and only 6 have held this year, 23.1% of the time. We also attempted to go trend up, which failed, so only 35.5% of trend days have held. NQ ends 12 wide. They had a chance for an outside day down and up. They don't get either as they close inside of Monday's range. Righty does not get either side of the IB. They had a perfect puck going until L, and they just missed it. They end 12 wide. They don't get either side of the IB. What they do, though, get is the daily, to me, is down. Came out of a 2-day balance to the downside. For us, we are firmly in a 3-day balance at ES, and we still have the outside week up, so we'll see if they can take advantage of it at some point over the next 2 days. We have a lot coming out. You have the PMI, ISM, and JOLTS tomorrow morning, again, all after 9:30, which is horrible. And then we have non-farm payroll on Friday. I had an okay day, so I made 7 points on Monday before my machines went down. I made 10.5 today in ES, and I also made a little over $300 in NQ. In fact, I'll do that. I'll show you that one first. So when NQ came down in D period, they already had the IB high and the overnight high, and they had higher value at that point. They ended overlapping higher. So I thought at that point in D was a good risk-reward long, and it turned out to be nice. So I made a little over $300 in NQ on that. It wasn't as tempting in SPY, even though SPY was still one time framing up. We hadn't gotten our overnight. Now, another thing, I could have bought a lot. I made a couple of points in J on a long. The reason I didn't add over here is because we didn't have our overnight at that point, and I thought the odds of getting the overnight high or low were very good, as you can see by the percentages. So I would not have added in J unless we had gotten the overnight low and then come back in. So if we had gotten the overnight high already and then that came in like that, I would have probably taken a much bigger size around J's low, because I had a long at 79.50. I ended up making small on it, but I wouldn't add to it. That was my only long, actually, in ES today. Everything else was early and was short. And A period against the gap fill the first time, and then in B, C, and D, because I just didn't think they were going to hold singles. Didn't look like they were going to hold trend. I told the room, know your competition and everything else. Look at this. This talk about going through a speed bump. Look at these wide overnight pocs. It was not going to be easy to get through this today, especially with the minutes coming up and 4,500 above us. So that's why, even though we attempted to go trend, I did not expect it to hold. And it did not. And I faded them a couple of times. And I would have faded it again if we had gotten the overnight high. So, good day. Not a bad day for a slow day. Now, as far as destinations, we have the 11 wide POC which is at 443.16, okay, which is an upside destination. Then we have today's high, 443.89. So we have three highs very close to each other, within 41 cents of each other. There's a good chance those get taken out. But then again, on the downside, we also have, so we took out Monday's low, so we have 441.90, and then we don't have anything to 441.11 in that gap of 438.28, 283 points. Now, in ES, we have today's low of 71, then you have the daily low of 65 and a gap below us at 38. And then on the upside, we have our 11-white POC of 83.75. Today's high of 91.25. So again, you have three highs, 91.25, 94.98, all very close to each other. Something tells me this market's still in control by the bulls, and they're going to take that out and maybe attempt to get 4,500 and get acceptance above it. And the reason that they better do that is because on the charts, so here's the weekly, right? We don't want to just be stretching the weekly high and then eventually fail, because then you get to the bottom of a weekly balance. So that's why I think it's pretty important for buyers to get going sooner rather than later and take out this weekly high in 4,500 and get going. So the weekly is balanced with an outside week up, and the daily is firmly a 3-day balance with this large gap by main focus. Thanks for the likes and subscribing. I hope you had a good day trading. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.